All right, welcome back, watch fans. We got an exciting show for you. Today we're reviewing what's happening in the vintage watch market. We got a lot of drama, excitement, controversy, and we're going to go into all of that. A lot of interesting things happening. By the way, we got Patek Philippe in the house. Patel, welcome. Thank you for the gifting. That's right, Patek Philippe gifting 5 memberships. Unbelievable but true. And let's get into this auction. Look, so here's the thing. So Monaco legends, these guys always put together an incredible auction where they bring in, a couple hundred vintage pieces, really the rare, the unusual. They got a lot. They deal with a lot of collectors, a lot of Italian collectors, a lot of Middle East collectors, a lot of Asian collectors. So those kind of are the real. I think their main market really is probably the Italians, maybe Middle East, France, a little bit of Europe, not so much the Americans. So their market, they get some really interesting watches. And what we saw today was we saw some real disappointment, some overhyped pieces. Didn't get the prices that people were expecting. There were also some pieces which are kind of controversial. Some people were saying that maybe the watch is not exactly legit, and we'll address those things in today's show. But let's kind of go through some of the interesting lots. I'm going to show you kind of the highlights of the auction today. Let's get into it. So, real quick, you got this Rolex dress watch. And this sold, by the way, this is with premium, right? So roughly 10,000 US, kind of this 1960s, mid-century modern looking watch. I think whoever got this really, I think they got a bargain. Again, the estimate was 3,000 to 6,000, and this sold, way above the estimate, right? 3,000 to 6,000 was the estimate. Sold for 9,100 euros. Again, we're talking about euros. So roughly almost 10 grand US. Of course, probably the estimate was a little low. This is an incredibly beautiful watch. Much better alternative to what Rolex is trying to do now with this Cellini. Look at this. Look at the way this the strap is integrated into that case. I mean, this is, I shouldn't say integrated, but yeah, this is an incredible watch. 36 millimeters, so it's really a modern size. I mean, definitely was big for the time, kind of like the Disco Volante, the Disco Volante models, the Patek and AP, everybody was doing UG. This was that same era. So whoever got this got an incredible deal. I believe they're going to be very, very happy long-term with that watch. Taking a look at another interesting outlier from today was, I wouldn't say outlier, but you had this Patek early 1919, 10 to 20,000 was the estimate, sold at 26. So actually at the high estimate. So it wasn't any kind of outlier, but again, I think this is a really nice watch. I think again, it's kind of a classic look. It looks modern. And this was, again, one of the early wrist watches. I mean, historically, it's an important watch. 1919. So this is like right when people started wearing wristwatches, very similar to what Frank Mueller started doing later, right? Watch Lux. Welcome. Thank you to Duke Philippe for granting the memberships, lifting the peasants out of the peasantry into the aristocracy. Yes, unbelievable but true. So let's go through the rest of this incredible auction. Where is my link here? Hang on a second. What happened here? What happened to the link? Oh, there we go. Okay. Moving along real quick, and then we're going to get into the highlights. We're going to get into the highlights. Actually, I'll get into the highlights right now. I'll get into some of the controversy. Here is the controversy, which is the last lot of the sale. That's the really controversial one. And then we'll go in. So this was kind of a controversial watch. This was allegedly I shouldn't say allegedly because there's no nobody really knows, right? They're saying, or this was piece unique, a one of a kind Rolex Datejust in platinum. So platinum watch, Datejust, one of a kind, the only one known to have existed, and this came on a strap. This is the original configuration. It came on the strap, and to make it even more interesting, this is the only known platinum buckle. So they're saying this is all original. So this is the platinum buckle. This was sold in Venezuela, retailed by Serpico e Laino, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You got this red date window, just like the turnographs. I mean, this is pretty interesting, right? So the estimate was 500,000 to 1 million, 500,000 to 1 million euro. And, people are, this thing was, they really hyped this thing up. This thing had a lot of hype. And it ended up selling for near the low estimate. They really had to drag it out. They really had to drag it out to get this thing sold. And it's sold for, this is, by the way, this includes premium. So 734,000 euros. So basically, I think the hammer price was like 600,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 600,000. So it was kind of a disappointment, right? Kind of a disappointment for this watch. And they're saying that it may not be legit. It may not be legit. Now, I'm going to move to what I think is one of the bargains, which was right next to it. IWC. I believe this is a Gerald Genta design. A Gerald Genta design, IWC. It's called the Yacht Club, 1979, right? And sold for 14,000, all inclusive, right? 10 to 20 was the estimate. And when we did the preview a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, this is the watch you really want to get. Beautiful watch. Diamond bezel. Again, this is Gerald Genta, right? The guy who designed the Royal Oak, the guy who designed the Nautilus, the guy who designed all the great watches. And this really goes right into that. It really follows that design philosophy. It's not a knockoff. It's not a copycat. It's kind of an evolution of his design. Very similar to what you see now with the, what do you call it? The, what's the huge watch he's doing with, for the jewelry company. What the hell is it? Shit, it'll come to me. The huge watch is like a 45 millimeter, but yeah, that thing is crazy. But no, this is unbelievable watch. Whoever got this is going to be very, very happy, I believe. 38 millimeter. So yeah, I know we had Archie Luxury saying you gotta go with these larger modern sizes. Well, you know what? I think Archie actually had an IWC Ingenieur, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this really is the watch to get. Now, this is, again, he likes the big size, 38 millimeter. There you go. 38 millimeter is the size for this watch. Upvote. That's right, guys. Make sure to upvote. By the way, guys, make sure you also get access to our free weekly newsletter. Make sure you get access to our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the video description below. And what is that going to give you? Every week in your email box, you're going to get our free weekly newsletter, latest watch market news, latest prices, market action, and Rolex, AP, Patek, news, gossip, rumors. Look, if you're a serious watch collector, you got to subscribe to this newsletter. It's absolutely free. You want to get it? Very simple. Click the link in the video description below. All you got to do is put in your email, and then you'll get access to our incredible weekly newsletter. Now, let's get back into the story. Okay, let me go back to the highlights. Sorry to make you dizzy here. We got to scroll up, and let's walk through the highlights. By the way, guys, make sure feel free to leave your comments here. Let me know what you think is the winner. What do you think is a bargain? What do you think was overpriced, overhyped? Let me tell you what I think was might have been a bargain. You got this Gerald Genta again, Gerald Genta is being pushed very heavily by, what is it? LVMH. I think they bought him, right? This thing was, I think a bargain. 4,000 to 8,000 was the estimate. Again, probably a low estimate. And I think this thing came on a bracelet, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, this thing probably came in a bracelet. But yeah, I think it came in a bracelet. So that's a bit of a problem. But look at this. You got a calendar watch, basically $8,500. The Gerald Genta prices are on the move. It's sold at the high of the range. And yeah, these things are going to do very, very well long over the next couple of years. I shouldn't say long term, over the next couple of years. All right, let's go into some of the interesting watches here. Okay, I showed you this Rolex. We showed you these. Let's go into, okay, here's another watch which kind of, I think, may have been a disappointment, which is the classic. This is like the blue chip Patek Philippe. This is the blue chip Patek Philippe. You know, people talking about investing in watches, you know, all that stuff. This is the one they're talking about. This is the blue chip Patek Philippe, which is the perpetual calendar 3448. This is 1971. They had an estimate of 140 to 280, and it's sold for, I believe, what is it, like 180 something, 190, 180. So that's a price including premium. So it really sold kind of in the mid range of that. I mean, it was okay. It was okay, but I think people were expecting maybe something bigger. But basically, 250 grand, which is, you know, a fair price for basically one of the most desirable blue chip vintage Patek Philippe's out there. You know, like this is the watch that they're modeling the 5396, the annual calendars. Long term, this is kind of the equivalent of the Rolex Daytona, of a Paul Newman Daytona. So this is well bought. Whoever got this, really good value. Okay, by the way, speaking of Ellipse, all the Ellipse sales today sold near the top of the range. Like I've been saying, look, the Ellipse market is on the move. You know, if you listen to the tomato cans, the crayon eaters like Archie Luxury, they tell you, oh, it's too small, oh, it's this, it's that. No. See, these guys are behind the times. These guys are stuck in the late 1990s. I've been telling you for a number of years now, the Ellipse market is taking off. This thing was 5 to 10 estimate. Sold 11,000 all in, so near the top of the range. Let's move along. Very interesting. Look at this. The Patek solar clocks, 12 to 24 estimates, sold for 42,000. I mean, this is crazy. This is a solar clock. It's brass. I don't get it. This thing is for like real heavy duty collectors, real collectors. Because look, when you have one of these, it's not like you're walking around showing this off. It's sitting in your home, right? Or in your office. And most people who see this, they're not going to get it. They don't know what this is. Quite frankly, I don't get it. I really don't get it. This is ultimately, it's kind of like a historical, you know, it's just weird. It's like one of these weird things that people are into. So these Patek clocks are going crazy. Let's take a look. Another interesting Rolex. So you got a pre-Daytona. Historically, these are really important. And look, the price tells you. What a beautiful dial. This kind of opaline, silvery dial. 70 to 140 was the estimate, and it's sold for all in at the low range. So, you know, this might have been a little bit disappointing. Let's see what was the inscription on the back. Goodman, something Goodman. What was the description? Richard Goodman, love, mom and dad. Wow, it's nice. I guess this was a gift to from somebody's parents, right? Again, this is speculatively speaking. I think this is the way to go. A much better deal than a Daytona. What a beautiful, beautiful, modern-looking dial. 1967. Gold. This is going to do well. Moving along. So we got an Explorer 2, Tiffany dial. We got a Tiffany dial, 20 to 40,000 was the estimate, and it sold near the high at 46,800 all in. Again, the Tiffany dial is the premium. I think these are going for like 25 grand, without the Tiffany dial. Retail, low retail. And, this is a good condition. Did it come with box papers? No. And by the way, here is $635. That was how much an Explorer was selling for back then. Not this one, but this is the Freccione, because the orange hand, Interesting. Yeah, unbelievable. You guys, make sure to get that newsletter. Click the link in the video description below, and make sure to upvote, subscribe to the channel. Click the link to subscribe. Join the channel. Subscribe. Whatever you got to do. Let's move it along here. What else was interesting? What was interesting and exciting? We got a lot 31. Lot 31 I have here. Check this out. The Parmigiani. We know Bill, what's his name? Bill, Watch Art Sai. He's really into these. And I think this is maybe a speculative interest that they're going to be bought by Hermes or something. I don't know. I'm actually surprised at this price. I'm surprised that this got this 40 to 80,000 and it sold for, sort of in the mid range. So the all in 78,000, so about 80 grand US. I'm not the bezel with the diamonds, the baguettes, beautiful. And this is a minute repeater. It's a minute repeater. The dial itself, to me, it's kind of a dog, but the bezel is incredible. What is this? I missed this. What is this? Boucheron. I actually missed this. Looks like a Cartier, right? Looks like a Cartier. What the hell is this? I actually missed this. Boucheron. Homage. Interesting. Cartier style layout. Okay. We'll have to get back to this one. This is kind of interesting, kind of weird and interesting. Something to cover later. I'm not prepared for that. I didn't have it on my list. Okay, here's some interesting watches. So Piaget, again, it's something we covered last time. A dual time. I'm a big fan of dual time. Asprey, I mean, you can't get any better than this. So this is probably bought by, I don't know. Look, you had to be a heavy hitter to buy from Asprey back in the day, or even today. That's sort of like a Tiffany plus. Tiffany is really for the peasants. Asprey is sort of for, literally the aristocracy, right? Royalty, etc. 1960s dual time, black, white. I love this layout. 16 grand euros, so about 18,000 US. Sort of mid-range. A bargain. This is a real bargain. Asprey, you're never going to come across this watch again. So this is a well bought. Congratulations to whoever got this. They're going to get a lot of enjoyment. Now here we go. Rolex, another Rolex blue chip. We got the Rolex blue chip, the triple calendar moon. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Again, one of the most desirable vintage Rolexes out there. One of the blue chips. 6062. 600,000 to $1.2 million was the estimate. And what do we get with this watch? Look at this box. Came with a box. Featured in the book. That adds a little value. It's got nice provenance, etc., etc. It's sold kind of, near the low end. So look, people are getting more 800. So let's 850 grand, roughly 850,000 US dollars. So, people are getting, I think the watch collectors now are getting a little bit more, what's the word? More discerning. That's what we're seeing right now. People are they're not just throwing crazy money around. I mean, again, this is more of a vintage watch. It's a specialty market. It's not like the other stuff. A lot of the hype watches, they really didn't do that well. They didn't do that well. A lot of modern watches were kind of, mediocre. They were kind of mediocre. You got your kind of basic, neo-vintage Rolex, basic prices, nothing special. I don't even know why they bother with these basic bitch watches in this auction, unless just to fill it up. Now, excuse me. Let's see here. We got, so we got this, what is it? The Smurf, I think they call it, the Smurf, white gold, modern watch, right? The Smurf. So roughly $30,000 all in, $30,000. Slider condition, full set, box, papers, full set. Roughly 30 grand all in with the commission. So guys, if you want to actually join the channel, if you want to leave comments, you got to be a member of the channel, which is free. So just click the join button, whatever, the join, the member, or whatever it is, you become a member of the channel, and then you can actually go into the chat. I think the chat is set for members only right now. Nothing exciting with modern Rolex. Nothing too exciting, as you've seen. But we got something kind of interesting, which is the King Midas, but not the ugly one. Not the ugly one. This is kind of an unusual one. Very rare, as they like to point out. White gold on this beautiful mesh bracelet with sapphires. Sapphire set. This sold really well. 15 to 30 was the estimate. I mean, this is the type of watch you could have bought for like 12 grand a couple years back. People are starting to go crazy for these. And the integrated bracelets, the mid-century modern stuff. So 15 to 30 sold for 35, which means roughly 29,000 euro was the hammer price, roughly. Pretty interesting for a Rolex, the Cellini King Midas. Let's move along to this, which is what is this? The cloisonné. This is their the handcraft from the handcraft line, the rare handcraft line. Again, these are kind of rare when these come up on the market. Not too. The market wasn't, again, these are not getting big prices. I think in the rare handcraft lines, a lot of these are quite ugly. I did a live stream. I did a video on these. Check out the video where we talk about the handcraft line. The marquetry, if you're going to go for the handcraft, you got to go for the marquetry, the pocket watches, the really, really rare, unique stuff. For something like this, again, the image makes a big difference. The quality, the execution, and the materials. The cloisonné over here, the watch, this kind of Art Deco Russian propaganda poster design. Soviet era, I should say, propaganda poster. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. It's kind of gimmicky. 90 to 180. So basically sold at the low end of the estimate, which means the market. It's not that excited. They're not that excited by these. Moving along. What do we got? Oh yeah, hang on a second. Let me throw out the link. For the punters. The link is out there. Tan or any of the other aristocrats that want to join the channel, you're welcome to hop on. What's interesting? This JLC in steel sold for, let's call it 12,000 US. French dial perpetual calendar in steel. These have been picking up in price. Again, this is a little pricey. I wouldn't pay this much for a steel perpetual. This is kind of a retail price, and it's not even a full set. So this was, I don't know, somebody must have gotten excited. Somebody must have gotten very excited. This is, I think, a little pricey. I don't think that was anything too interesting. Okay, so yeah, we got the usual suspects, the Paul Newman dial, okay, 871,000, very interesting watch. Obviously, it's one of those. Listen, I think the Daytonas, I'm going to say it right now, the Daytona, the Paul Newman market has peaked. It's over. My opinion is the Paul Newman Daytona market, we've seen the top. The top is in. The top is in for the Paul Newman Daytona market, in my humble opinion. Moving along. Let's go to the comments here. Okay. Let's see. Patek Philippe. Interesting tropical dial. 50 to 178,000 was the hammer. So yeah, kind of again at the lower end. What a beautiful, beautiful dial. Again, this is it's kind of literally, it is one of a kind, right? 1973, kind of this bronze dial instead of the blue. Really interesting. I mean, this is what an interesting combination. I mean, it looks amazing. I would put this on a. Actually, I don't know if I would put that on a leather strap. It actually looks okay on this. It actually looks okay. Let's take a look here. Let us take a look. What else was interesting here? 50 lot, 52. Okay, Universal Geneve. We've been talking about this. Prices for UG are on the move. Again, this sold for high estimate, right? 3,000 to 6,000 was the estimate. All in 7,150 euros. Triple calendar chronograph. I love these. 1940. So this is a little bit small. No, 36 and a half. No, I've seen a smaller one. I guess this is an early. This is no, this is okay. Yeah, this is okay. More than okay. Really good buy over there. Moving along. What else? What else is interesting here? Okay. Lot 59, a really interesting Patek. Look at this weird dial. It kind of copies the bracelet. It's kind of weird with sapphires. 15 to 30 estimate, 1967 gondolo, sold for 23,000 all in, full set, as you can see. Oh, and you can put on a strap. Huh. Interesting. I guess this is what is that what did they do? I didn't read the notes on this thing, because I think sometimes they did. Oh yeah, is this one of these removable ones? I don't know. I guess it is. I mean, to me, it's kind of an ugly watch, but whatever. Okay, so this is, I think, very interesting. This is kind of an outlier. We got to look at this. This is an outlier. We have one of the ugliest watches that Patek Philippe ever made. Nasty, ugly, vicious, and nasty. The Neptune, the Patek Philippe Neptune. These came out in the 90s? I guess this was a final edition, 2006. I can't believe I thought they stopped doing these at early 2000s. Oh, yeah, production started in 1998. I don't understand this. You couldn't give these watches away. They were like $15,000, and they had an estimate 10 to 20,000. It sold for 29,000, so it sold above the estimate, roughly 30 full set. But you can get these at retail. I mean, retail secondary market for, I don't know, 25 grand. I don't, here's the thing. This is, there could have been a value at 15 grand. These would have been a value because, it's kind of the 5712, right? This is the 5712 watch. Hey, Ted. Hello there, Ted. I should say Baron Ted. We got Baron Ted. We got 1911. We got Baron Watch Lux in the house. We got Taipei. We got Duke Philippe in the house. What do you guys think of this watch? Is this ugly or what? How ugly is this watch exactly? It's fugly, actually. To me, this is the, I would call this the, it's fugly. It's like the Bentley Flying Spur. It's fugly. But actually, no, it's worse, because this is actually worse. Very few redeeming qualities. It's kind of the 5712. Everything is there, except, it's on this weird and ugly integrated bracelet. Yeah, it's kind of nasty. It's kind of nasty. It's polished, high polished steel. Instead of doing two-tone or whatever, you got some of these are textured, some of them are polished. Look, Patek Philippe has had their share of dogs, and this is one of them. But I don't know. I think maybe people are going to be trying to push it. I don't know why this sold for this price. Crazy. Very surprising. Very surprising. We got possibly a piece unique. Gilbert Albert. Wow. What a beautiful watch. 1530 sold for 33. It looks kind of like a not a butterfly. What are they called? A dragonfly or something. A dragonfly. I mean, very cool. Very cool. Is this a men's watch or women's watch? 19 by 30. I think this is probably a women's watch. And this sold for 11,000 Swiss francs in 2003 at Antiquorum. So how'd they do? They paid 15 grand for it. Let's call it 18,000 with no more. This is 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, 11,000 would be the equivalent of 25,000 today with inflation. So basically, this watch kept up with inflation, basically. Yeah, that's basically what you did. You kept up with inflation. You bought this for 11,000 francs 20 years ago. You sold it today for 28,000 net. Probably would have been your net. So 30,000. Yeah, you would have made a little bit of money. You would have been basically making, let's call it 5% on your money with this. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, for every, yeah, look, some dogs are irredeemable. I think those Patek Neptunes are kind of nasty. I remember seeing them when they came out. I remember seeing them and I was like, what is this? What is this thing? I couldn't, I just wasn't into it. This is that was like 20 years ago. Okay, let's go to something interesting here, which is this monstrosity. What is this? So this is a bust down. It's a high-end bust down. So instead of a bust down, watch where you get some tomato can jewelry store that puts diamonds all over it and ruins the value of the watch. This is a high-end bust down. Basically, what you had is you got a Rolex. You got the Rolex Wimbledon, I guess they call it. Wimbledon dial, ugly dial, nasty and vicious dial. One of the worst dials out there. One of the ugliest watches you can get, 41 millimeter. So Datejust 41. And steel. By the way, this is a steel watch. Let me be clear. This is a steel watch. This is not white gold. It's steel. But why are you paying a high price? You're paying for that Asprey logo. So Asprey, again, ultra high-end jewelry store. Think of Tiffany multiplied by 5x. And they put on this, so Asprey customized the watch. They put on this tourmaline and diamonds. Tourmaline. So this is not emeralds. It's tourmaline and diamonds. It looks nice. It really does look nice. And look, Asprey is first-class operation. Obviously, it's sort of like basically higher end than Tiffany. But when Asprey does the bust down, it increases the value. So 20 to 40,000 estimate. It sold for 104,000. 104,000. More than double the estimate. Probably went to the Middle East because, again, from what I understand, in the Middle East, men do not wear gold. Steel is okay. Platinum is okay. You see this? 1 of 1. Custom order. Asprey. Asprey in the back. Asprey in the front. But still, a lot of money. I think this watch is you're locking yourself into a massive loss. Big loss on this watch. This is, I mean, I'd be surprised if that watch gets 20 grand. Listen, the guy who bought that watch is probably like, I don't know, in Qatar, Dubai or something, whatever. And they're never going to sell that watch unless they go bankrupt or, they die and it gets sold later on. I think that watch is, normally that watch would be a $15,000 watch. So it's sold for 10 times that. Yeah, that's what happens. Sometimes auctions get crazy. That is the drama of auctions. You never know what happens. We get a question from Baron Watch Lux. Question: my daughter wants a crash for her 50th. Can't get it at Cartier, even though I'm a regular. Can you get one at auction? New only, meaning box set, minty, unworn. Yeah, I think these are coming up at auction, actually. I think there's a couple. I think there's actually one coming up at Christie's in Geneva or Phillips. There's going to be auctions next month in Geneva, Phillips, and Christie's. I think they're going to have them. But the prices are crazy right now for those. I wouldn't buy. It's too much hype. It's too much hype. Cartier, I think we're going into peak Cartier. I think the market for Cartier has peaked. It's going to be all over. Let's keep going here. What else is interesting? We got Lot 103 is next on the hit parade. This is a real bargain. Audemars Piguet, again, white gold integrated bracelet, funky watch. Yeah, there's no question it's a funky watch. 1970s. But again, this is one of these things like the Ellipse, a lot of these funky case shapes. Listen, all of a sudden, everybody's going crazy for Cartier. Crash, Cartier-shaped watches. You couldn't give those away a couple years back. Now people are into it. Archie's saying, oh, this guy's, his Ellipse. Archie was ragging on my Patek Ellipse, that funky. Actually, I would say it's a fugly watch. The Ellipse I have in the white gold integrated, the bracelets, it's a fugly watch. But that watch, I believe, is probably going to double in the next year or two. Again, same idea as this. Beautiful lapis diamond set dial. 8,450 euro all in. Roughly under 10 grand US. I think it's a bargain. I mean, actually, look, at retail, I should say low retail, low retail, talking about like secondary market, you could probably get these for 8 grand US. If you really look hard, you can probably get this at the shows. Now, this was a surprise to me. This watch was a surprise. We're talking about this Cobra. We're talking about the Cobra. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely give you no, look, they give you good service. Patek, not like Rolex or AP. Rolex and AP, I mean, the AP people are the worst. The AP salespeople, the bottom of the barrel, they're pure trash. They are pure garbage. Very condescending. They're on a power trip right now. The AP salespeople are on a power trip because, all of a sudden, they're hyped watches. You couldn't give them away a few years back. This watch you couldn't give away. 6,000 to 12,000 estimates, sold for 20. I'm shocked. Now, I saw this, at the Miami Watch Show, roughly, I don't know, $12,000 US. Now this had, okay, you're getting some paperwork. Okay, that helps. That definitely does help. But still, the problem with this watch, by the way, so this is, I'll go on the record and saying this is a nasty and ugly watch. But it's kind of an interesting vintage. Whoa, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Wait, this is a year 2000? No way. Should be a 70s watch, 60s or 70s. Doesn't make sense. No, this is, oh, they got the bad information here. No, they got bad information. Fucking tomato cans. Yeah, these people have tomato cans. It's not year, they say it's not year 2000. This is the 70s watch. Is this 31 millimeter? I don't know. They fit very badly. You know, the Shah of Iran had one, Pahlavi. He also had he was the first buyer for the Royal Oak. So it's an interesting watch. It's very hard for the watch to fit, though. I put it on my wrist and it was, yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good. They're nasty and ugly. Let's see. By the way, guys, make sure you click the like, subscribe, join button, join the channel, like, subscribe, and get our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the video description below. You're going to have this newsletter coming to you every week. Watch market news, prices, rumors, gossip, and everything else. Free in your email box. Click the link, and all you got to do is just input your email, and you'll get this week's issue. 1991. Which one is that? Which watch are you talking about? 450 grand? Chrono 24. Which watch? Okay, let's okay, so yeah, again, all the APs in this auction, they all sold kind of at the lower end of the estimates. This thing kind of looks like a little bit of like a Richard Mille, some of the round ones, which actually, I think Richard Mille, vintage Richard Mille, if you can actually believe saying that, Richard Mille's from, let's say, circa 2000, early 2000s. You know, I don't know. They're looking interesting now. They're looking interesting to me now. You know, they're thin. They're kind of interesting. It could be a good buy in gold. I don't know. They're very interesting. Yeah, most of the EPs sold really, you know, the modern stuff sold at the low ends. Again, Ellipse, 4 to 8 estimate, 4 to 8,000 estimate, sold 97.50, which means it was above the high estimate. What is it telling you? What do you see? What does that mean? What does that mean when you see, look at that nasty strap, nasty original strap. What does it tell you? What does it tell you when you see, you know, a trend starting? You know, I mean, you're seeing the ellipses. Every ellipse is selling at the high or above the high estimate. What does it tell you? I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your comments below. All right. I'm back. Crash. Oh, the crash. Crazy. I fuck, dead money. Crash is, look, I'm calling it. We're seeing a top in Crash. We're seeing a top in the Daytona, Rolex Paul Newman Daytonas. You know why? I think people have had enough. You know, it's going to be controversial. Very controversial. You know why? Because a lot of people have a lot of money invested in those Daytonas. And I might do a video about that. The vintage Daytona, the Paul Newman market, we have seen the peak. I'm calling you right now. It's going to be downhill from here. Why am I saying that? You know, look, I understand trends. I have a pulse. I just know like where things are going. I'm just more from a fashion perspective. You know, look, fashions come and go, right? You know, and I'm kind of early in things. Like I was with the Ellipse, like I was with the Royal Oak two-tone. And I could see that the Daytona, the Paul Newman, it was kind of rare and unusual, kind of cool a couple of years back. But today, everybody's got one. Every rich guy who collects vintage has one. It's no longer special. It's not special anymore. Everybody's got one. Every tomato can, every crayon eater has one. You know what that means? It's like the stock market. You know, when everybody owns it, when everybody bought, everybody buys that stock, there's no more buying left. You know what happens next? Guess what happens next? There's no more buyers left. People are had enough. They're full. It's going down. It's going down. Daytona, not the Ellipse. Ellipse is going up. Let's keep rolling. This is very interesting. This is a Bear Clooney watch. You know, Bear, I'm surprised Bear is not here. This is from Yugoslavia. Incredible watch. Incredible watch. Pocket watch. Made for King Alexander I of Yugoslavia in 1928. Wait, there's an interesting story. Was he assassinated or something? He was assassinated? He was assassinated October 1934. Yeah. He received the watch just before he died. True lover of watches in the course of some rare pieces with his insignia. Yeah. Yeah. This is the guy. This is the guy who owned it. Okay. Here's what's amazing. So you're buying this watch. You're basically buying a piece that was owned by, you know, royalty, you know, for whatever that's worth. But I mean, he legitimately was a king of Yugoslavia when Yugoslavia, you know, in the 1920s, you know, Yugoslavia, I mean, you know, look, it's a shithole country, but, you know, it's, look at this. Wow. It's like Fabergé. Probably inspired by Fabergé because, you know, that's Yugoslavia. You know, they're all Russians, Yugoslavians, same thing. This, incredible watch. So forget about the provenance is good, but you know, you're not going to get one of these things. So 40 to 80 was the estimate, sold for 91. I think that, you know what I think is that probably some Serbian bought this. You know, there's probably that guy, there's a guy on Instagram, big watch collector, who's Serbian. He's like some guy in the metals trading business. What is his name? He's got some weird name. Funny guy, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if he bought this because, look, you got the Patek thing, and also you got some, you know, some historical value. 40 to 80, sold for 91. I think it's a good deal. Money well spent, or I should say money well invested. It's an investment. That watch is, make no doubt, that watch is an investment. Let's talk about some disappointments. Disappointments. Yeah. By the way, that's 100% right. Watch looks. Yeah, some of the modern watches. Here's the thing with these auctions. I said this before. Look, the only thing you should be buying at auction is something which is rare. I mean, the only thing that really should be coming to these auctions, frankly, is things that are one of a kind, rare. You know, when I say one of a kind, either it is literally a piece unique, one of a kind, or, you know, there's few that ever come on the market. And that's when you buy at auction. Otherwise, why would you buy a modern watch at auction? I mean, they're generally going to sell for close to retail price. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of hilarious. Like sometimes you see gold coins or bullion at auction, which is like the most retarded thing. I mean, I've seen this a lot of times. I mean, so many times. I don't get it, but they auction off literally, like, gold coins. I'm talking about bullion coins, no real numismatic value, bullion or like eagles or whatever. And guess what it sells for? Guess what it sells for? It sells for, including the premium, very, very close to the spot price. Very, very close. So the guy who buys it, basically, I don't know why they buy at auction. And they could just buy, in I guess the primary market, whatever. I mean, you can buy bullion, gold, bullion coins, or whatever. So it's one of those things which is a commodity you should not be we are doing a show on vintage watches right here. So this watch was a disappointment. I'm actually shocked how cheap this sold. Maybe somebody knows something I don't know. Look, I'm not an expert on vintage Rolex. I don't claim to be. I want to be 100% clear. I'm not an expert on watches. I'm not an expert on Rolex. I know a little bit of, just know a few things. I just know a couple of things, right? I don't know anything about movements. So this watch was owned by, okay, so you got a Pepsi, Rolex, Bakelite. This is the thing made out of, radioactive materials. So it glows in the dark. The bezel and the markers glow in the dark. It's made out of radioactive materials. It was owned by Gonzalo Güell, Foreign Affairs Prime Minister of Cuba in the 50s. So this is pre-Castro. That's the guy. He got records and everything. This is the watch. I mean, this is actually a beautiful watch. I mean, it really looks so good. Now, I'm not a fan of this tomato can metal stuff, the vintage. That's why I can't get into some of these vintage. But it's got his name in the back, 1958. He may have left Cuba with just this watch and his shirt on his back. Could be. These guys had to flee. So this would appeal to, who does this appeal to? Rolex, vintage Rolex. Cubans in Miami. Quite a few Cubans in Miami. We know quite a few Cubans who love watches. Right? Vintage watches. No, this is Monaco Legends. The Monaco Legends watch auction that happened this weekend, today and yesterday in Monaco. Yeah, I don't know why this watch sold. So the estimate was 250 to 500,000, 250 to 500,000 euro. Hammer price 260 all in, which means that it sold below the low estimate. What do these sell for normally? The Bakelite dials. I don't know. What do they normally sell? I actually don't know. I probably should have done my research before I got into this. But I didn't. But what I do know is historically it's an important watch. It's got all the charm, the romance, Pan Am, Cuba. The whole thing is great. It's just a beautiful watch. I don't know, maybe something was done to it. Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows with these things, right? You could play a lot of games with these things. We don't know. But this was definitely disappointing. That was definitely disappointing. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do these normally go for? What do these normally go for at auction or whatever, or dealers? I don't know. But I think it's in the hundreds. It's definitely in the hundreds with a Bakelite dial. All right. Let's move it along. Kind of a modern watch. One of the ugliest watches, the Patek Cloisonné. I call it the sex tourist watch. Ugly watch. Fonts are ugly. Look at how they ruined the bezel. They had to write Patek Philippe Geneve. Oh, because I guess they didn't want to put in the Cloisonné. I don't know. It's kind of tacky. Everything about the watch is tacky. 75 to 150, and it's sold near the low end. I wouldn't pay a penny for it. Moving along, AP pocket watch, white gold, 1960s, modern, beautiful design, vintage modern, skeleton, 6 to 12, sold for 16.9, which means a little bit above the high estimate. Good deal. I think it's a really good deal on those. Let's see what else we got. What else? Moving along. We got. By the way, this is what's going on. Audemars Piguet Coda 1159, hammer price all in. This is the two-tone. I think we actually covered this on a live stream the other day, yesterday. 13 to 26, hammer price 20,800, roughly $23,000, $22,000. So 22 grand. That's what the market is telling you it's worth right now. White gold, two-tone. Real interesting watch. Again, interesting stuff like rare, unique is selling. We got a Vacheron, this kind of rectangular shape, curved, kind of like a Cartier, right? If you can't get a Cartier, you get this. Look how well the strap is fitted. 4 to 8 was the estimate. 4 to 8 was the estimate. Hammer was probably 12 and a half, 14 or something. So 16,000 all in. Double, basically nearly double the low estimate. Why? I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised. I thought this would have gone for like $6,000, $7,000. You know, basically 7,000 euros maybe. Deployant, full set. I'm very surprised. Yeah, I definitely thought this would have been maximum, you know, maximum 7,000 euro, 8,000 maybe on a good day. Went crazy. Interesting Rolex, where I've never seen anything like this before. Chronograph, what is it, 1930s? Yeah, 1936. Interesting. Okay. What is this? You got somebody's seal in the back. Okay. Okay. Piece unique, possibly, ladies. Sunburst blue dial. Beautiful watch. It's like a bracelet. 30 to 60, and it's sold, you know, all in 59,000. 1973. You know what? This is kind of interesting. These things could go anywhere because, you know, ladies' watches were not getting good prices. Who designed this watch? Somebody, there must have been. Again, this is basically a piece of jewelry. It's basically a piece of jewelry, like this 60s jewelry. Big watch too. It's not small. So 60,000. It's kind of an interesting price. Let's see what else is here. Okay, Daniel Roth. Daniel Roth sold below estimates, 1990s. 10 to 20, and it sold for 10,400 all in. Huh. Interesting. That's kind of a surprise, no? That is a surprise. Daniel Roth is kind of a hot market. I know those are kind of maybe not that period. Okay, we get the Patek Philippe. I think it's an amazing watch. It's a world time pocket watch. 60 to 120. I think these are quite rare. I think they only made 15 of these in pink gold. So there's only 15 of these. Similar watch sold at Sotheby's for 321 grand just last 2 years ago. 321 grand at Sotheby's a couple of years ago. Now it's 97. I don't know. I think this is a bargain. I think it should have sold for way more than 120. Big value in these pocket watches, I believe. It's going to come back. Yeah, unbelievable but true. Unbelievable but true. Let's take a look. That was the Angelina Jolie. What does that mean? What does it mean it was the Angelina Jolie watch? The one that we were talking about? That Patek? Which one were you referring to? Was it owned by Angelina Jolie? I don't know. Okay. Here's another disappointment. Modern Patek, or 2010, this crazy complication. What is this? Minute repeater, perpetual calendar, moon phase, platinum, pink gold. So this is ugly. This is so nasty. Look at the way they do the side of the case. I hate this. I can't stand this. Oof, disgusting. But anyway, 600 to $1 million too. I don't know what these go for. Big money, apparently, right? No box. No box. Just a watch. No machete chips. Anyway, this one got passed. No interest. Move it along. Pass it up. Okay. Speaking of weird stuff, very weird and interesting. Rolex Octopus. This is all original, by the way. All original. No bust down over here. 100 to 200 estimate, sold for below the low estimate, 117. So 120 grand all in for this yellow gold, basic Rolex, 1980s. Full set. Basically, you're paying for this weird thing. Would you even wear it? I think this is just so weird and cool. I mean, if it was cheap. The one thing that I don't like is this bezel, which is tacky. The bracelet, I don't think is tacky. The bracelet is just so out there, but the bezel is very basic, which I don't like. So I don't know about that watch, but we got another AP pocket watch. Again, sold above the high estimate. Skeleton, beautiful watch, yellow gold, diamond, sapphires, 70s, 27,000. I think it's a good value. What do we got? Breguet. By the way, guys, Breguet is getting strong prices. Breguet is actually pretty strong. So we got a vintage Breguet, steel, right? Steel, made out of tomato can metal, chronograph. 50 to 100, sold for 84. Very respectable. 1947. Also, okay, the watch was published. Okay, it helps. Yeah. I don't know. It looks really nice. Would I pay that kind of money? I don't know. I mean, historical value, I guess. But yeah, no, Breguet is definitely getting a lot of interest. I mean, Breguet is not going cheap. So let's see, what do we got that's interesting? Another AP though is disappointing, or maybe not. Some sort of weird limited edition trees or whatever bullshit. 35 to 70, sold for 48. Interesting what they did with the doll, right? With the tapisserie, the tree. What is the foundation for trees? I don't really care. Okay, the clocks. Look at the money that these clocks are getting. Okay, it's got the Kanjar logo, so you know the whole Oman thing, or Muscat, I guess, Muscat, whatever. Muscat, Oman, I don't know. What difference does it make? Uh, full set, the box. It's got the box. You can sniff that box. By the way, this box, I think this has got silk inside. This is not like the cheap material that they had. Box and papers. There you go. No machete chips on this watch. There's the Kanjar thing right there. Quartz. It's a quartz clock. Crazy. 183.60 sold for 234. So still real money. Solar clocks. Hey guys, remember this? I actually did a video with this at the Miami Beach Antique Show a couple months ago, and I don't think it was this particular watch, but same thing, platinum with this beautiful baguette bezel, and the dial. Actually, the dial is what got me, the blue and the diamonds. Amazing watch. I think they were asking like 78 was kind of their bottom line. And is that a good price? Well, this one sold for roughly the equivalent of $68,000. So 68 grand is, you know, I guess what the market price is, right? What else we got that's interesting? Ulysse Nardin. They got Ulysse Nardin. I don't care about Ulysse Nardin. Yeah, I couldn't give a shit about Ulysse Nardin. Okay. Piaget doing well. Piaget. Okay, there we go. Another Ellipse. A funky Ellipse. Now, again, I've been telling you guys, the Ellipse market is on the move. The Ellipse market is on the move. Now, this watch is actually kind of ugly. You know, the case is a little bit too funky. Having the Roman numerals makes it the dial too busy. You know, you want a clean dial when it comes to the Ellipse. You want to have the nice, clean sunburst minimalist dial. And 10 to 20 was the estimate, and it sold near the high, or you know, upper end. So $22,000. By the way, this watch you can get at the Miami Beach show. I sold a number of these. You know, 10 grand all day long. All day long, you get these for 10 grand. Okay, all day long. And now the market is on the move. Look at this. That's the watch. You know, maybe it moved up because of the new Ellipse with a bracelet that's 60,000. I don't know. And what is Archie Luxury saying? Oh, the Ellipse is too small. Oh, the Ellipse is a dog. How come the Ellipse dogs are all selling? How come the Ellipse dogs are all selling at the high above the thing, right? What am I telling you? It's the trend. The trend is up. You got to follow the trend. You want to make money with watches. You got to know where the puck is heading. Right? What did Wayne Gretzky say? You can't chase after it. You got to go to where it's going, not chase after it. You got to be there to where it's going to end up. So that way the puck comes to you and all the tomato cans are chasing after it. That's my philosophy. You know, when I buy a watch, I want to make money with that watch. Because, look, to be candid, it's kind of stupid. I mean, it really is stupid to pay, you know, 20 grand for a watch or even 10 grand for a watch. It's dumb. Well, unless it's your only watch, then it's fine. But beyond that, there's no point to it unless, you know, it's a store of value. You can make money with it. I'm looking at it as a store of value because, look, you know, we got inflation. The dollar is being depreciated, debased. And, you know, I think watches are better than gold. And they're performing. They're performing. Okay, so we got this very interesting, again, blue chip Rolex. Rolex. This is a Rolex. It's not a Patek Philippe. I love that circular date thing. I love that. You got the date in the windows. 400 to 800,000 was the estimate. Hammer. Actually, with premium, 429. You know, if you were to ask me, what would you rather get? A tomato can Paul Newman Daytona, a tomato can Daytona, or one of these? I'd go for one of these all day long. Similar watch sold at Phillips 2019 for $1 million, roughly over $1 million. That's Swiss franc 980. That's like over $1 million. So $1 million, $1 million from 2019 and today. So in Geneva in 2019, this was $1 million, and in Monaco, you know, 5 years later, it's half price. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think it's a bargain. Look at this. Woo, full set. Wow, what a beautiful. Wow, that is. Look what you used to get. What is the JLC thing there? What is that? I wonder what that is. Le Semaine à Genève. A week in Geneva, I guess that means. What does this have to do with Geneva? Let's see. Some sort of brochure. Originated from a connoisseur's collection. The inclusion of the original sales strap adds a touch of vintage yet contemporary. Number 995 out of the 1,000 units produced. One of the last specimens, 1960s. So they made 1,000 of these. Again, for Rolex. I mean, again, 1,000 over a number of years, right? How many day dates do they make? How many Paul Newmans do they make? I don't know. This is very special. How many of these are survived? I don't know. Crazy. Yeah, that's right. Gretzky said that. It was all from Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, I'm not here to chase trends. I go to where I know the trend is heading. Let's see. Interesting AP here. We got an interesting AP Disco Volante 6Ds black dial diamonds 35 millimeter. It's a men's size. Very cool. And you get a pouch. Wow, stunning. 12 to 24,000, sold 27,000. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's in there. I would have thought this would have gone cheaper. These were not that popular. Maybe something is happening. Okay, so Hublot, you know, Hublot, some of the Italian dealers have been trying to promote Hublot. They're trying to pump up the early Hublots, the 80s Hublots, and this was actually owned by an important Italian collector, Renato della Valle. 37 millimeter, 4 to 8, and it's sold way below the low estimate, way below. Something like 3,000 is where it's sold. Look at this beautiful butterfly clasp. It's nice. Moving along. Okay, I don't want to cover these things too much. I don't really care about this. Okay, so AP offshore. Okay, this is minute repeater. Yeah, minute repeater. It's an offshore minute repeater, perpetual calendar, split second chronograph. You following that along so far? Minute repeater, perpetual calendar, and a split-second chronograph. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. 455. You know, it's actually, this is kind of cool because this is like a sporty, fun watch. Sporty, fun watch, 44 millimeter. And it's, you know, these are a lot of big complications, by the way. This is heavy duty stuff. So I don't know. Interesting. Oh, hang on. Let's go. Okay, moving along. Where are we? Okay, chocolate donut. No, I've seen this. We've seen this. Okay. What's interesting? Okay, here you go. Cartier. Okay, modern Cartier. 2000s. Beautiful watch. Ladies' watch. You know, shaped case. Pink gold diamonds. 10 to 20. And it sold for 22. Beautiful dial. Look at that. Okay, we saw that. We saw this. Okay, what do we got? Oh shit! Wait, I'm sorry. I went. I think I skipped the spot. Here we go. Okay, so many watches. Okay, we're almost halfway through. Oh, okay, we're getting close to the end. We're getting close to the end. Don't worry, guys. We're getting close to the end. 212. Okay, there we go. Parmigiani, another Parmigiani. This is Bill Sanders watch. Minute repeater, dual time, minute repeater, dual time, or GMT if you want to call it that. Kind of cool. I mean, it's actually kind of cool, right? The diamonds here, the setting is absolutely beautiful. The dial, I can't get into this dial. And it's a minute repeater. 50 to 100, sold for 110 hammer price with premium. Nothing exciting. Nothing too exciting. Let's see what's going on with the Submariners. Okay, basic. Patek. Interesting. This is kind of a rare, again, one of these 70s watches. What's going on? They had it at 50 to 100 and it sold for 71. Huh. I don't know. I'm actually surprised. That was kind of high, no? Kind of high. It's a very funky watch. This is like the type of watch that Bhagwan Rajneesh would wear, you know? Let's see. Okay, Cartier. Let's go back to the Cartier story just to highlight the strength of Cartier vintage. You got this reverso, which is kind of funky. Look at this. 2 dials. Actually, pretty nice. Pretty nice. 1970s. This is a very 70s look. Champagne. Cocaine, champagne, 70s. You got it. So this was 15 to 30, sold for 35. So above, right at the high estimate. Goes to show you the strength in Cartier. Another one. Is this a reverso? No, it's not a reverso. U.S. Army. Wow. Whoa. This is interesting. Grand Carré coin. Okay, what's the story with this? What is the story? The inscription in the back reads Captain F.J. U.S. Army. 2 prominent figures in the U.S. Army. Captain F.J. Hardy. So this was 1920s. By the way, guys, 1920s. So this was given as a gift to like a World War I veteran, an Army veteran. I mean, this is crazy. Do you know how advanced this watch would have been in the 1920s? This would have been so like avant-garde. I mean, yeah, wow. This is I guess technically military history. This was a Christmas gift, 1927. The Roaring Twenties in the U.S. It'd be kind of interesting to know what the story was, what the background story was, who these people were. What are these guys talking about? Hockey? Hockey? You guys want to get a room together or something? All right. Now, this is really interesting. Really, really interesting. I mean, this is fascinating, the history behind this. So, yeah, Cartier, definitely very strong. 1920s watch. Let's see. What's going on with pocket watches? What's going on with pocket watches? 100 to 200,000, 213, perpetual calendar, minute repeater, Vacheron. You know, I hate the way they do the months on the perpetual calendar because they do like the whole leap year thing. So it gets very confusing. I don't want to see the 4 cycles. I just want to see 1 year. Yeah, this thing did pretty well. This Vacheron shaped case, funky case, 25 to 50, sold for 44. So, you know, I mean, it was strong. It was strong. But look at the beautiful dial. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, this is a funky watch. Let's see. Okay, now this was a real surprise for me. Gerald Genta. This is a Gerald Genta watch, 1990s. And you know what's unique about this? Is he put a carbon fiber dial on this. Nobody was doing carbon fiber in the 90s. It was like so out there. I mean, now like everybody's into carbon fiber. Everybody's all to the carbon fiber. It's become like a whole overhyped thing. Personally, I don't care for the carbon fiber. I think it's kind of tacky. But how avant-garde was this to do this in the 1990s? Nobody even knew what carbon fiber was in the 90s, okay? And he's putting it on a dial in this funky gold case, octagon case, kind of an evolution of what he was doing. Now, I think it's an ugly watch, but historically important and a bargain. It's called a Success. Wow, that's a cool name. The model name is Success. Interesting. 10 to 20 was the estimate. Hammer was like probably around 11 or something. So it sold for all in, you could have gotten this for $14,000, $15,000. A bargain. That watch is going to go to the moon because Gerald Genta is going to be, you know, they're pushing Gerald Genta. Okay, interesting Movado, you know, Art Deco, 1930s, and it was owned by this guy. Who is this guy? Armand, great artist or sculptor, whatever. He's kind of fallen out of fashion, but he was huge, very successful in the 80s and the 70s. King Midas ladies watch, Rolex. You know, if you're going to go for a King Midas, a Cellini, this is the way to go. Beautiful, beautiful case. Much better than the men's version, which is, you know, all solid gold. Queen Midas. The Queen Midas. Maybe we should call OC Queen Midas. Yeah. He made a Disney. Oh, yeah, the Disney. Yeah, they are making Disney watches. Yeah, listen, everybody is doing carbon fiber now. Everybody's doing carbon fiber now. But this guy was doing it way back when, right? Oh, I missed the super chat from Watch Lux. I'm sorry, I missed the super chat. 279 Canadian. Watch Lux, 279 Canadian super chat. Sorry, I missed that. We missed that. Okay, here we go. Leave it up on the screen. Now, 18 grand, again, mid-range. I don't get this. I don't know why this sold for this much. 18 to 36, Blanc Pawn, diamond, diamond watch. I don't know, maybe I don't see the watch as having, I don't think this watch has 45,000 value. Maybe, what kind of diamonds are these? Maybe somebody's buying it for the diamond. I mean, diamonds aren't worth that much today. How can this sell for this type of money? This to me seems very, very overpriced. This, I would have thought this would have been like a $20,000 watch on a good day, and it sold for more than double that. So it goes to show you never know. You never know. Personally, between these two, I'd rather get the Rolex Queen Cellini for 18 grand. And, it's a designer watch. It's funky. It's, mid-century modern, 70s modern. Diamonds. It's a very Miami watch. I mean, this is a cool watch. I mean, it's coming back into fashion. It was out of fashion for a long time. Okay, we're down into the home stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the home stretch. I'll just mention this Equipod rose gold watch, 4 to 8, sold for 12. The hands, what do the hands remind you of? F.P. Journe, that's right. F.P. Journe probably copied this design. Mark Newsom is the designer. Great designer. Industrial designer. This is very, very interesting. Breguet. Look how the watch aged. Guilloche dial. 40 to 80 was the estimate. This is a 1951 watch. It's kind of interesting. So, 1951, picture this. It's 1951. You know what I like about this? The case is modern. So here's what's interesting. You got a modern case, 1950s. This is right of the time, modern case. But you still have that Breguet heritage dial. It's got the Breguet heritage, and this was owned by a very interesting guy. Look at that buckle. Look at the buckle. This was owned by Julian Levy. Julian Levy was a very important art dealer. He was one of the first guys to show Salvador Dali, as it says here. Actually, a couple of other guys. Surrealists. He was into like the surrealist art in the 1930s. So he was a real pioneer, a very important guy. So 1950s, this would have been like sort of in his, he bought this in 1951, right? Look at this, 1951. 1951. So yeah, he was like right in the middle of his career right at that point, 1951. That was right when abstract expressionism was happening. So picture this, he was probably, the surrealist stuff was still, surreal stuff was still hot. So he was making good money. He was making big money. Well, actually, I don't know. Were they making? Yeah, they were doing okay back then. Again, Breguet is doing pretty well. Look at this. You got this equation of time complication, perpetual. 30 to 60 sold for 54. Very respectable. This is a platinum watch. Breguet's got underlying strength. That's what we're seeing. Underlying strength. This was interesting. Piaget. They call it the Andy Warhol because, Andy Warhol had a similar watch. I don't know why they keep using this. It's kind of insulting. But anyway, onyx dial, platinum stepped case. It's kind of a big case, right? What size is this? 43 millimeters. It's a big case. And baguette diamonds. Very cool. I think they did one in meteorite. The meteorite one is the way to go. I'd love to get the meteorite. I'm a big fan of meteorite dials. That's how I ended up with the Jacques Droz, which might be a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake or not. I think the Jacques Droz thing is going to get some action because they they're going full bespoke now, so we'll see. Okay, we're in the end. We're in the end here. We're in the end. Let's see. I know I missed the great watch. Oh, no, it's coming up. It's coming up. Okay, so we've seen Breguets. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Here is the highlight of the sale, in my opinion. This watch right here is the highlight of the auction. All right, it's going to bed. Oh, shit, it's 9:30 East Coast. There we go. Thank you for joining Watch Lux. All right. We're looking at the Monaco Legends watch. What makes this watch special? What makes this watch so special? Well, three things. Universal Geneve, right? Again, I'm speaking strictly from a speculator standpoint, the watch speculator. Universal Geneve making a big comeback, okay? Big comeback. Bought by Breitling. You know, they made great watches. It was really one of the great companies. So they're going to be revived. Historically important. Why? Made for the Italian Air Force. The Italian Air Force. It's got also double sign. Carelli. Retailed by Carelli. You see that? At the bottom? Carelli. And this was made for a guy who flew for the Italian Air Force in 1950. So you see it's a 24-hour watch. This is the guy. And they gave him these cufflinks. And the watch is stainless steel. These cufflinks, I guess, are steel also. Cronometro per navigats. Astronomio? I don't know. Tipo. AMI. So you got all the paperwork, right? All this paperwork, everything, server, everything. Okay, so a similar watch sold at Philips Geneva auction 2016, 197,000, so 200 grand, $200,000 in 2016. This was consigned by the family of the original owner. It's coming directly from the family of the original owner. And he flew. So it was retailed by a Rome dealer, Carelli, in mid-1950s. So you got a picture. 1950s, Italy's coming out of World War II. The country was a wreck. 1950s, all of a sudden, industrialization starts happening. There's a boom. There's an economic miracle. I mean, the economy was booming. It was la dolce vita up until like the late 60s. I mean, they really had a big boom. And that was the golden era of like, what's his name? Who's the guy that married? No, he didn't marry. What's the guy that owned Fiat? It'll come to me. Okay, the guy who owned Fiat. All those guys, right? It was unbelievable. Unbelievable, but true. This is a 44 millimeter case. Wow, 44 millimeter case. So this was made for the Italian Air Force, and this guy flew with this watch. That's right, he flew with this watch. Okay, additionally, soldiers assignment pins affiliate 10th Stormo Bombardamento Terrestre. Bombardamento Terrestre. Historic journey, Mediterranean, North African conflicts, 10th Bombardamento Terrestre, Mediterranean, North Africa. Initial conflict. The wings planes were engaged. I guess objective is in Malta. This is a frequent with the British air squadrons. The conflict, I guess they're saying, I guess they don't want to say World War II. They don't want to say the Axis. They don't want to say that when he had those cufflinks, it was from the Axis from Mussolini. Il Duce. Maybe Il Duce gave him those cufflinks. Unbelievable but true. But this watch is from the 50s. Wow, beautiful condition. Very cool. So look, they got a lot of Italian collectors bidding in this sale. And what's happening, we know what's happening with the Universal Geneve. So there's a lot of things pushing it. Number one is the Universal Geneve hype. Number two, the watch itself is important. And number three, all the Italians in the room, right? They got all the Italians in the room. All the big, heavy-duty Italian watch collectors are there. It's competitive. They want to impress each other. What else? Oh, this is interesting. This Cartier, incredible. I think this is a piece unique. All right, they call it the white Cartier Bianco. So look at this. The diamonds, it's kind of floating. It's like a halo. You got a diamond halo. You got a beautiful crown. It looks like an octagonal crown. Beautiful watch. Stunning. Men's watch, by the way. 250 to 500 hammer, all in 357. So 375,000 roughly. Look at this. Is that rose gold? Crazy. Platinum, but the watch is platinum. It's a crazy watch. 1950s, full set. I don't know. That's I like that. All right, we covered this. We're at the end. We covered this early on. IWC, I think this is one of the great buys of today's auction. One of the great buys. The Yacht Club 2, 10 to 20, sold for 14,300, all in, a bargain. A bargain. I would have paid that price. I would have paid 15 grand for this. I'd still, if anybody has this, I would pay 15 grand for that watch. And this was a bit of a disappointment. 500,000 to 1 million, sold for near the low end of the estimate. Platinum, they just, is this legit? Is this watch legit? I don't know. What do you guys think? Serpico Elino dial? We don't know. We don't know. People are saying something is questionable about the watch. It had some, I don't know. People were doubting its legitimacy. Oh, wow, look at that. Beautiful. Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the richest countries in the world in the 1950s and 60s. They got the oil. I mean, even in the 70s and the 80s, I mean, it's a wealthy, wealthy country. Venezuela, by rights, should be one of the richest countries in the world, as should be Argentina. Why did they screw it up? Communism. Joe Biden voters. Listen, you vote for Joe Biden, it's a slippery slope before you end up like Venezuela. Unbelievable but true. Unbelievable but true. And that, my friends, wraps up the Monaco Legends auction. Let me just say thank you to our sponsors, Patek Philippe, Duke Philippe, Watch Lux. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Make sure you get access to our weekly newsletter. Click the link in the video description below. Watch market news, auction previews, results, latest prices, all that good stuff, and more. See you all on the next one.